Good morning, all you beautiful, chaotic messes of people that I like to call my friends. Present company included. That chaotic. I wouldn't call myself beautiful. Yeah, maybe. In any case, good morning. It's day 12, 75 hard. And it's very nice outside. It's lovely. It's beautiful. Deceptively lovely, though. Skies are blue. According to the Alexa, it's 40 degrees, which I do think is right when the wind's not blowing. But when the wind's blowing, oh, it's cold. But it's nice. So I got to thinking about something that a buddy of mine that's doing the challenge with me, he posted a short video on our chat on Discord, and he had said that it was a Mike Tyson talking to Joe Rogan thing, and Mike Tyson just had a quick quote. We didn't see. I'm sure there's a whole interview behind it, but it was just a quick one, and he said that discipline is doing what you hate to do as though you love to do it. Doing what you hate to do, but doing it like you love it. And Joe Rogan said that's a great quote. And that was what Mike Tyson said. And I agree with him. I think it is a great quote. I think it's a very, very good quote, especially if you actually understand where that's coming from. And there's no problem with it whatsoever. Mike Tyson understands where that's coming from. Joe Rogan understands where that's coming from. People who've been involved in personal development, growth, fitness, health, all that good stuff, more than just fitness and health, just growth in general, have a pretty good understanding of where something like that comes from. But some people don't. I want to expand upon it a little bit, because the problem isn't with him saying that at all. It's dead on the money true. The problem is with some people who can't understand it, or just don't understand it. Some by fault, some choose not to understand things like that. Some just haven't got there. Just ignorance. That's good, because they have room to grow. So where that comes from is that's a motivating statement for most people, but it's a truth for Mike Tyson. But that comes from him, from birth to day. He's lived that truth. His entire life story is built into that. And if you think for a second, he became arguably the best boxer in the world by just simply doing things he hated to do, you're probably an idiot. Or at least you haven't thought about it quite enough. Because that's clearly not the case. There's a lot of work behind that. He just sat around and did things he hated to do all the time, he would have never got that far. There's no meat behind that. So you got to realize it's a motivating statement, and it's a good one. And when you get motivated by that statement, you should take that little push and use it to keep building the momentum. Because motivation, I've mentioned this before, is to be provided or to provide a motive. And the best way to be motivated is by doing something. You can't just get magical motivation. It doesn't happen. You have to actually put your nose to the grind, or other people can give you a reason. And that's what that is. It's a good motivating statement. Now, discipline can be, I guess it just depends on how you want to word it. I'll get a little more picky about the words, but I get exactly what he means. Sorry about the pauses. Not only am I working out and breathing, there's also lots of cars keep going by. So, I like Andy Frisella. I love listening to Andy Frisella. He's an awesome dude. Teaches great stuff. That's where 75 Hard comes from. And he has a deeper explanation of what discipline is. And I like his explanation. It kind of takes what Mike Tyson meant and separates it into a few different parts. And I added a fourth part at the end myself, just out of experience. It takes it and goes from discipline only to discipline being doing what you don't want to do because you know you should. Not even though you hate it, just because you know you should. But discipline doesn't last forever. Neither does this next part. Andy Frisella calls it diligence. My previous video, I forgot what word it was, is diligence. I called it determination. I still think that's pretty similar idea. But diligence is giving it your all, doing it because you know you should, with everything you have, just like you would do it if you wanted to, like you love it, like Mike Tyson said. So that's the next step, is diligence. And then thing is with diligence and with discipline is you can't just bank on that forever. Just like you can't bank on motivation forever. Those things all fade away. You get tired. If all you ever do is do stuff you hate to do, eventually you're not going to want to do it anymore. You've got to understand the reasons why. And this is where it can become kind of a challenge for some people, even before you get to diligence, or even before you get to discipline, really. When some of your relatively new starters in their development course, or some of your people who probably don't even get there because they don't actually even want it, face this lack of motivation, they just give up, they're done, they're out. And for any of those steps along the way, the reason is they just don't have any understanding. That's the fourth part. That's the part that I've kind of came to find myself. And these are all built into exactly what Mike Tyson said about discipline, because that is his life. He does understand. He absolutely, positively wanted that for his life. He understood exactly why he wanted it, and he was willing to do the stuff he hated to do like he loved it, to get to where he wanted to be in that point, because he understood it. I believe there's other stuff to it as well. I'm not going to get too far into it, otherwise we'll have a 452,000 minute video of me babbling on, and I'm not smart enough to do that, so I'm not going to. But that's a big part of it. It's a big part of the thing. He understood it. If you don't understand, you'll quit. You will quit eventually. It may last a long time. You can ride out discipline and determination for a while. Some people can ride it out longer than others. And it has a lot to do with who you are, the personality you have, your past experiences, how tired you are now, your current life circumstance. There's a lot to it. But you'll eventually quit. If you don't really understand the reasons why, you'll quit. So that's human nature. You can only push so much doing stuff you don't want to do, until your subconscious pushes you back in the other direction too much. So there's a lot of understanding behind that. And so what do you understand, right? You've got to understand, one, why you want it. What's the reason for the result? And I have some examples. But you also have to understand a little bit about yourself. Because there's going to come a time, very likely anyway, that you're going to try to self-sabotage. And so why are you going to self-sabotage? What's happened in your past that your subconscious doesn't want to let go of? You've got a survival instinct built into your limbic brain. And if you start making changes in your life, your subconscious doesn't like that, because it's survived up to this point doing exactly what you've been doing. So you'll start feeling those feelings. Those, I wonder why I'm having this feeling, or why am I pushing myself away from this victory? It's because your subconscious doesn't want it. Your subconscious wants to survive, because it always has, exactly that same manner. You have to understand these things. If you don't, then discipline, determination, diligence, motivation, it'll all eventually crash and burn. I'll use an example for myself too, of just knowing why. The last time I was doing 75 hard, if you think that you can go 75 days of doing what you want to do just because of doing work that hard just because you want to, no, it gets boring. It's not always fun. It can be hard. It is hard. Sorry, just admiring a nice stream. That part's not hard. Your motivation fades pretty quick. You can watch some videos, keep yourself pumped up. That stuff helps a little bit, but it fades out. you start building that discipline. That's part of the reason you do 75. That is the reason you're doing 75 hard. Mental toughness, fortitude, grit, all that good stuff. You build that discipline and determination. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but you get to a point sometimes where you have to really face the music. And after 17 days of motivation being gone, when you're on day 62 and you go out and you see something you want, it gets a little bit different. Well, that's only 75 days. We're talking about your life. Discipline is a lifelong skill. You can't just do something for 75 days and expect to accomplish some major goals in your life. So you have to understand what it is you want to get there. I understand what I want. I understand that I want to be healthy. I understand why I want to be healthy. There's many reasons. I know one of the reasons I want to be healthy. I like the fact that I can currently, at the age of 42, look down at my lower torso on the front and the sides and see everything without having to suck anything in. I like that. I like that I can do that for myself. I like that I can feel confident walking around without a shirt on around people. I don't have to wonder if I look like a nasty slob, which is how I feel about myself. I don't see other people that way, but I certainly feel that way about myself. Just a little side note in case anybody thought I was judging you. I understand that, and I understand that I like feeling healthy. I like that I can wake up and move. I like that I can stretch. I understand that I can appreciate the fact that I can keep my knees locked, reach down, and palm the floor flat. And not many people my age range can do that. But I also understand that that's important for safety. So I can do a lot of things without getting hurt. I like that. I understand that it goes from there, that it motivates other people. I have children that I want to be a good representative to. I want them to be healthy. There's a lot more to it than that too, but I've thought deeply about these things. And that's why I understand. And that's why I can push through. So last time I was doing 75 hard, when I got to a place one time at a restaurant, we were on a vacation. It wasn't a big vacation, it was just a few days. It was in Algonquin, Maine. And we went to a restaurant, a really nice fancy restaurant that had been involved with Gordon Ramsay. And I was really looking forward to this meal with some friends. They knew I was doing 75 hard. They knew alcohol was off the table. Sorry, one second. Driving by a truck. It's gonna be loud. So they knew that I had to be careful about what I was choosing to put in my mouth. And they knew that I had to, not that I couldn't enjoy a nice cocktail or anything like that. So, but there was a mistake. And it wasn't a mistake on the restaurant's behalf. It was a mistake on mine. At first I thought it was mine until I reread the menu and realized that I missed it. When my food came out, it was fried. Well, that was not on my diet. So here I am, very far into 75 hard. The only motivation I have is that I didn't want to start over or fail. But that food looked good, man. And I was looking forward to it. And I was with people. We were out on a trip, a vacation. And after waiting in the restaurant, I was hungry. And that fried chicken, that didn't look bad. It looked good. But I couldn't eat it. I had to pass on it. And what made it worse is I also had ordered an appetizer that I didn't realize was fried. This place likes to fry food. Either way, it was probably delicious. And next time I go, I'll probably get that food if I'm not doing 75 hard. Because I'll be able to. But yeah, I couldn't then because it was very specifically against my diet. So I had to decide at that point, why? Why do I want this? Well, one reason is I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to fail 75 hard like a turd. So that's a motivating factor, right? That's an understanding why I was motivated. I understood that I had that appearance that I wanted to uphold. And that's okay. That's an okay thing to have. Nothing wrong with wanting to appear good. with wanting to appear successful. Just gotta understand and do it the right way. You can't. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. Anyway, that's okay to want to appear successful, to want to appear healthy, to want to appear good. There's nothing wrong with that. I understand people take that too far, and that's not what I mean. But I wanted to win at this, right? I wanted to do it right. So that was one thing I understood. Another thing I understood is I wanted to be healthy. I wanted to build that determination. I wanted to be able to have that fortitude, and I wasn't going to do it. And again, like I said, there's plenty of reasons. I understood them all. So I made that decision. I made the decision to do what I didn't want to do, as though I loved to do it. I chose not to eat that delicious food. And ultimately, it ended up working out pretty good for me. That's the other thing too. It ends up working out pretty good a lot. This particular circumstance, obviously the people that were waiting on us came to understand what was happening, and they were fantastic. They baked chicken for me, and they brought it out to me, and I got to eat my food, and it was probably even better. So I just missed out on that appetizer. Whew, that was good. It smelled good. But in any case, so they were fantastic. The food was delicious. It all worked out in the end. And it was a victory because I got to recognize at that point that not giving in to that temptation, which is, by the way, giving up is a temptation. It's a subconscious temptation too. But giving in, I didn't give it to it. I ended up with something better. On that vacation too, I wanted to mention another thing. The same trip there's a couple realizations. I did the same thing in Meredith too. I went on a jog. Now, when you're on a vacation, what you don't want to do is get up before everybody else in your family while they're sleeping, put on your workout clothes, and go for a jog. Nope, didn't want to do that. But I did it because I knew that was what I was doing. That was my discipline at the time. And I stuck to it. And I actually found it to be one of my favorite places to go out and do my outdoor workout. It's absolutely beautiful. Hey, when you're in Agunquit, Maine or Wells, Maine, and you run up to the beach, some of those spots, the views, you take them in while you're doing your workout, you just can't go wrong with that. It was beautiful. So I ended up really loving it. Same thing happened in Meredith. I was on a weekend getaway with my wife. Still doing 75 hard at that point. And again, the restaurant situations were challenging, but the food I ended up eating was delicious. And that morning when I went out on my first jog that day, I remember this. It was in the teens of the days when we went to Meredith, and I went for a walk off the beaten path, a walk jog workout. And so I was walking and jogging in an area that tourists don't go. That's not your typical Meredith fancy place to see pretty things. And so I found some pretty cool stuff, some views of the water that you don't see typically, and some quietness, some nature that you don't get to see typically there. And it was nice. So, long story short, I understand I like those things. I'm going to continue to do that. So you've got your motivation, your discipline, to determination, diligence and determination, and then just the understanding. And yeah, so I wanted to expand upon that. This is probably about twice as long as I meant for it to be, but I really wanted to share those stories. Take care, guys.